Hello, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is my last meal.
Every person has exactly two things in common. We all gotta eat and we're all gonna die. Today's guest is an actor, writer, producer, and legendary stunt performer who starred in 4 Jackass films. He's a host of Fear Factor, House of Fear, and his high school guidance counselor, Mrs. Hanley, once said his most outstanding attributes were his humility and his propensity for self-mutilation. Johnny Knoxville, welcome to the show.
Miss Hanley said that?
Miss Hanley said that. I'll tell you where I got that from. I was reading this old magazine, and she's quoted in this. This is April 1998, Big Brother.
Miss Hanley was quoted in?
Well,
Wow.
You quoted Miss Hanley. If you flip open to this here bookmark, we have a really cool article.
Man, I haven't seen this in a while. Mrs. Hanley was, she was a home ec teacher, but every time I'd get kicked out of class, I'd always go hang out in her class because she was just the coolest.
Yeah.
And she was really pretty. So she was just the best from top to bottom.
You quote her in the first paragraph of the self-defense equipment. I think right down here, actually, second paragraph.
Oh my goodness.
How long has it been since you've seen this article?
20 years?
No way.
Yeah.
And this is the original article that would become effectively 4.
Yeah, I was just going to write the article on self-defense equipment, and Tremaine, who now directs Jackass, said, well, you should film it too.
Thank you so much for joining us on Last Meals. Have you thought about your last meal before?
No, I actually haven't thought about my last meal. Because admittedly, I am not a foodie. I just eat food because I have to. It's something I have to get out of the way. I'm more of a drinky.
Yeah, hey,
But
they've developed other words for a drinky.
Alcoholic?
That's the one.
Yes,
And more
yes.
Latin. Yeah.
But I am pretty psyched about all the salty foods I have on the menu today.
Did any of your choices surprise you? You're like, oh, I didn't realize I had that memory of a hamburger.
Well, okay, here's what happened. They're like, you're supposed to send your food choices about a week ago, and they're about to cancel, so send in your choices.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, fried chicken, fries, I like hamburgers.
Is that generally the way that you've operated in life? Like, it comes down to the deadline, you're like, shit, I gotta go shoot myself in the chest in the desert.
I leave things to the last second.
That's how you ended up-
especially that. There was no pre-production on this.
This is, of course, when you put on the bulletproof vest and couldn't find anybody that was willing to shoot you for the Big Brother magazine video.
That was the thing. I knew I was shooting all the taser gun, stun gun, and pepper spray at my buddy's house. Mm-hmm. I can't shoot myself in his backyard. It's right in the middle of Hollywood. So we just drive out to 14, and I'm like, pull off here? And then we pulled off there, and we ended up on a fire road. But we got out there, and he says, I want no part of this.
Yeah, fair.
And from the video, if you watch it, you can hear no one wanted any part of it except me. But it worked out.
This is probably a stupid question. How often do you think about death?
Not really. You know, every now and then I'm like, wow, one day I'm going to not be here and my kids will be. But that's as far as I get into it, because why?
I mean, you seem like a tremendously well-read person, though. There's a lot of people throughout history who have taken a tremendous amount of value in learning about death and thinking about it a lot. There's also a lot of people who have done the complete opposite and equally smart. You're the one who's taken the route of, I'm not going to think about this and just live my life.
Yeah, it's like, you know, it's coming, it's happening. But until then, I'd rather just live my life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're looking forward or looking behind. You're never here.
You ready to eat?
Yeah, we ordered some drinks too, right?
Let's get those drinks lined up. Johnny, for the first course of your final meal, we have the wedge salad, the beer, the fried chicken, the potato chips.
When I read my food choices to my wife, I said wedge salad and she laughed.
Why?
I don't know. It's just I just threw something in random. But this looks delicious.
It's the best salad in the game. We've taken about a quarter head of iceberg lettuce, sliced it, added a homemade blue cheese dressing, some bacon, chives, tomatoes on it, simple and clean. And then these are classic Cape Cod kettle chips.
Has anyone complained about the food?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Couple people.
Like what? Like,
well, you know, we've had some chefs on the show, and they're very particular. They're really like picking through all of it. Some people from New York who are like, this isn't New York pizza. Are you a complainer about food or no?
No.
Well, cheers, man. We got an ice cold supply.
All right, cheers.
Dig in, man. This is your
okay.
last meal, Johnny. This is your last meal.
Okay.
Go wherever. I feel like I don't want to recount certain stories for fear that it might ruin your appetite. Do you think you're still sensitive
No,
to that?
I don't give a shit.
I once watched you pour a beer into a man's asshole through a funnel.
You mean Steve-O?
That was Steve-O, yeah.
Yeah.
He really drank it aggressively as well. Did that turn you off from beer at all?
No.
That's a stupid question.
I can compartmentalize buttholes and beer.
Maybe a stronger man than I am. If you asked me to guess how many Jackass episodes there are, I would have probably said like between 100 and 125.
No, there's like 24 plus 2 specials, right?
That's nuts. 24 episodes of Jackass that were all shot within the same year, right?
Yeah, within 9 months.
Do you look back at those 9 months and do those feel like a very long portion of your life, or did that just happen in a blur?
That's what happened in a blur. I went from basically like doing PA work and being unemployed to 3 months later being on the cover of Rolling Stone. So it was a little adjustment. But man, I gotta say, we took the Jackass episodes down off of Paramount Plus because I watched a few of them about 8-9 months ago. And they've been recut, rescored, and re-edited, resequenced. We didn't even know.
Why is that?
I don't know. So we're like, get those down. That's not anything that resembles what we put on the air. Paramount, to their credit, said, okay. But they're still up on other places. I'm like, don't fucking watch the episodes, the Jackass TV show right now, because they're terrible. And we had nothing to do with it. Now, when we re-edit and rescore them and resequence them, you still may think they're terrible, but at least we did it.
Are you able to draw like a very clear through line in your life from your childhood?
Can I try the chicken?
Eat the chicken, man. Eat the chicken.
All right.
Also, do not ask for permission again, goddammit. Just eat the food, and I'm gonna follow you. But I'm still gonna keep yapping about you.
Thank you. What was your question?
I don't remember. I just want to watch you eat this chicken now.
Well, that's a sign of a real pervert.
Thank you. Absolutely, man. You got salt and vinegar chips. These are the official chips of perverts, man.
The amount of eye contact involved.
It's a weird show. How do we do on the chicken?
I just took a bite. Give me a second to eat it. Jesus Christ.
Answer at your leisure. I find silence uncomfortable. I fear it.
It's very good.
I was gonna ask, we had Steve on the show, and it was very clear how he ended up where he did on Jackass. He didn't get attention from his father. All he craved is attention, ergo he butt chugs Miller High Life in front of millions. Are you able to draw a clear through line between your childhood and how you ended up doing stunts in front of millions of people?
Yeah, you can see how I got there. My dad was a big, huge prankster, and he pranked all his friends constantly growing up. I was the baby of the family. I was just spoiled. I was from a part of the country that goes pretty hard, and sometimes my childhood was pretty happy, but my father drank, and so, that wasn't so good. So, yeah, you can kind of see how I got here.
With your dad drinking, was that something where you internalized this like feeling of adrenaline? Because so much of what we do as adults...
No, adrenaline wasn't what I was feeling.
What was it?
Fear.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you think they're not related in a way?
You can eventually get there, but...
You also came out to LA to act, and you've been in a lot of blockbuster movies. I mean, like proper...
Yeah, and some
big
that
budget
weren't
movies.
blockbusters either.
Sure, but like, it's you're in the NBA, right? There's only gonna be one Jordan. That shouldn't take away from the fact that like you were in the NBA. You know what I mean?
I'm in the NBA now.
You're in the NBA.
Shit.
But I mean, you starred in movies. You wrote articles for print magazines. These are all dream jobs that other people would want.
No, I've been extremely lucky. I give you that.
Sure. Do you think between like doing stunts and running your own show like Jackass, being a journalist, and then being an actor, if any one of those three things took off, do you think you would have been just as happy?
I think it took me a long time to be happy,
Sure.
But I think if I had chosen one of those paths and found success, sure, I would have felt fulfilled. But the deal I made with myself, which maybe contradicts what I just said, that it's like, okay, I'm going to move out to LA to act, and I'm going to stick around until I make it.
Yeah.
But when I started writing for magazines, I felt like, oh, maybe I have another thing I can do. And that took all the pressure off.
Yeah.
All the pressure.
And then the acting roles started coming from that.
I started getting callbacks. I never got callbacks before that. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm not so tethered to this part of my life.
Yeah. At that time, you also had your daughter when you were 24. It's interesting hearing the way that you talk about that. Was like you had the daughter, and then there was this impetus that you had to be successful. You had to do something.
Yeah.
Most people, though, when they have kids, they become, let's say, risk averse. But your idea of making it in the world was to take a tremendous amount of risks.
Yeah, that was my best guess.
Sure.
Of how to support my family.
Yeah.
Was kind of do a participatory journalism thing, but kind of more intense.
It was so intense that you basically had a Democratic senator try and soft launch their presidential campaign on the platform of canceling Jackass.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
When Joe Lieberman came after you guys.
I mean, he's dead, but
R.I.P.
at the time,
We love
that's
Joe
how I
Lieberman.
felt.
You know, could have won with Gore anyways.
And it's such a no position type of move, like hard on Hollywood. Like, oh, that's all you can think of? Because there's no consequence to being tough on Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Lieberman came down on Viacom, MTV, and me personally. What is happening? Like, 6 months ago, I was unemployed. Now I got a senator up my ass.
At that point, did you know you were doing something right? Did you know you were doing something wrong? Or did you just feel like, oh shit, I got a senator up my ass, this is crazy?
I felt like we were onto something, but because of all the heat he brought down on Viacom and MTV, we had all these, by the third season, which was like 6 months into it, it's like they bought 8 episodes, 8 at a time. And there was like, suddenly there was an OSHA guy.
Tough set to have OSHA part of, Johnny.
Yeah, oh, you guys can't jump off anything higher than 4 feet. I'm like, what are you talking about? Have you seen what we do? So I was like, I love Jackass too much to like do it half-assed, so I just quit.
Yeah.
And MTV was pretty surprised.
It's funny, even when you say, I love Jackass so much, like you said, Jackass had existed for, roughly 9 months or a year at that point.
Right.
You had a bunch of different iterations that could have been Jackass. Jackass could have been a 5-minute segment on SNL. Jackass could have been a show where you hosted it from behind a desk until I think it was Spike Jonze that convinced you not to do that. There could have been a bunch of different things that you pivoted to, but what did you found that made you so connected to it?
I was offered 4 shows within, Jackass included, within like 6-7 months.
Damn.
And I'm like, again, this asshole was unemployed a few months ago. And I decided to take a chance on me and my friends. It's something that we created together, and we would have all the control, and I just felt it was the better idea for me and us. If you're doing this kind of thing for a living, you're already taking some chances, so what's one more?
I think one of the things that made Jackass, and specifically you, so charming on the show is that you're doing all these crazy stunts, often with some of the most skilled athletes in the world. I think in Travis Pastrana, most decorated motorsports athlete ever.
Yeah.
In the original Jackass movie, you have Eric Costin, one of the best skateboarders of all time, just throwing your ass down a rail.
Mat Hoffman.
Even though Jaws Homoki is one of my favorite skaters of all time, and y'all gave him a concussion throwing him out of a hammock.
That guy.
And then there's you.
He just is an accordion.
Unbelievable. That man's
He goes
ankles
so
must be
big
Yeah.
and just accordions.
But you get these people that are, let's say, preternaturally skilled, wanting to hang out with y'all.
With people who have no skill whatsoever.
A little bit. You're pretty good at magic.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah. The Bull didn't think so, but I thought I did a pretty good.
Was your lack of skill, was that something that actively made Jackass as good as it was?
Well, we're all trying things that we're no good at and have never tried before. Because at the end of the day, no one wants to see someone make a stunt, you know?
Is that true?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't grow up in like the Evel Knievel era, but I grew up in like the Travis Pastrana era, where
Well, Travis goes so big, he has to make it or he dies.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's a little different thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen his x-ray?
No.
There's an x-ray, and it's just, he's the bionic man. There's metal everywhere.
Yeah, I know he's in medical journals for being like one of 3 people who's ever survived the level of spinal severance. And that was when he was like a kid.
Mat Hoffman, too. He's really put it on the line.
And against all odds, like your name is.
And if you ask Travis who his hero is, he'll say Mat Hoffman.
Yeah.
You know, everyone looks up to Matt.
Who's yours?
I love Matt. And I have a lot of people I look up to, but Matt's one of them.
You said Mat Hoffman was the only person you'd ever met who had fully conquered fear.
Yeah.
Do you think you're on that path, or you think a healthy dose of fear is good?
I've found a way to just cannibalize it and control it to do what I need to do. So I realize it's beneficial, but for what I, did, it wasn't really beneficial.
Yeah.
So it was one of the things that would possibly kill a bit. But sometimes it's good because, if you show fear in an entertaining manner, that's great too.
Yeah.
Like Aaron McGehee from Jack, he shows it. Steve-O shows it in a very entertaining manner.
Yeah. You ready to go into course number 2?
Sure.
Johnny, for the second course of your final meal, this is nothing you've asked for, but something we wanted to surprise you with. And I'm wondering if you can name it by sight alone.
Yes. Bacon.
That is bacon. If I said 4 Bloody Marys, 2 grapefruits, a pot of coffee, Rangoon crepes, a half pound of either sausage, bacon, or corned beef hash with diced chilies.
It sounds like a Hunter S. Thompson style breakfast, but you're leaving out the cocaine and amphetamines and all the other shit he was on.
We were hoping your publicist could get us the cocaine and amphetamines, but this is Hunter S. Thompson's breakfast, as seen in Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 1972, which you wrote the foreword for the 50th anniversary edition.
Yeah, I forget all the drugs that were involved, but there was weed, coke, maybe LSD, I can't remember. But this morning I'm like, I didn't put bacon down. And now we have bacon.
Please dig in.
And the margarita, this is not salt, this is Tennessee walking powder.
Is that what you call it? I call it Colombian Bam Bam.
Colombian Bam Bam. Well, both work.
Right.
Cheers,
man.
Yeah. I think Ken Casey told Hunter, it's like, if you're going to take all these f***ing drugs, you got to eat a big breakfast. He's like, okay.
Sure, probably pretty sound advice. Also, his breakfast, I think, would have been, at least in the diary, at 3:30 in the afternoon. And so not exactly like an early riser, but he would write till 8 in the morning. How special was it for you to write the foreword for Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail 72? Because you knew Hunter personally, right?
Yeah, I'd met him a few times, and he was a big hero of mine. Yeah, to be able to write the foreword was, it was an honor.
Yeah.
I wish Hunter was around to know. He'd have probably shot it down. Good God, he's an imbecile.
The first time you met Hunter, I think was it at the Viper Room? Somewhere on the Sunset Strip. And you said that you did kind of come off as an imbecile at the time.
Yeah. I was high on a bunch of things, illegal and drunk and just overbearing. And
sure.
And it's like, get this guy away. He was by no means frightened. He was just annoyed, and rightly so.
Yeah.
But I met him later, and it was a good meeting, except for he was in a very depressed mood. That was not great to see.
You write in this foreword, seeing him at this bar in New Orleans with his head on the bar, basically crying out in pain, and how jarring of an experience that was for you.
Literally, we walked up and his head was on the bar in his arm. Not how I was expecting him, but his black medical bag was right beside him.
Did any of that experience get you to rethink decisions in your own life? Was that like a big jarring moment for you?
And I was going full speed then.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of thinking, period. It was just faster, and disaster.
Did you ever have that reflection point where you maybe looked at the life that Hunter S. Thompson led? Because you would have read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when you were 19 years old? when you're a 19-year-old and you're reading, the greats of the Beat Generation, reading On the Road, reading Fear and Loathing, it seems really awesome. And then a lot of people sort of mature out of that, and they can still see how incredible, the writing is and the sort of stories that they tell, but maybe that's not all there is to life. Did you have this moment where you were like, maybe going all the way faster to disaster isn't something that leads to happiness, or did you just keep careening ahead?
Yeah, for many years, it was just fast forward. And eventually, you start thinking about things. But
sure.
I didn't for quite a long time, even though I'd seen many pitfalls and different people along the way. I just, I didn't equip myself until later in life.
What was a big move in being able to equip yourself?
If you have like little to no tools, therapy is an excellent place to start to give you some tools.
Sure.
So, that was kind of the first step. Next step, bacon.
Oh, yeah. There's a funny thing about idolizing somebody in media and maybe wanting to follow in their footsteps, because by the time you get there, the culture has changed so much that there can never be another Hunter S. Thompson, right? Like,
you got to be careful how you choose your heroes, because then you're going to end up emulating that.
What about people who have chosen you as their hero? Is there any flattery? Would you offer a word of condemnation?
The same thing I just said to you. Be careful how you choose your heroes.
Sure. How much did Hunter's death affect you?
That was very jarring.
Well,
because he was in New Orleans, I was in Baton Rouge, and he called me one day looking for a trip, like a plane to go back home with some urgency. I'm like, I don't know, I'll see if I was on the movie, so I'll see if anyone's taking a plane going home. And actually Jessica Simpson was. And so I lined up, I called her, I'm like, is it okay if Hunter S. Thompson rides back with you? She said, sure. And then I called him and said, I got a plane for you. But by that time, he had secured another trip back. But when he died, I realized that that's why he wanted to go back. And that was very jarring and incredibly sad. When you're at that point, I don't think you're no longer thinking clearly.
Sure. I think your Hunter S. Thompson is my Anthony Bourdain. He was somebody that I grew up watching and really idolizing the way that he used food as a lens to view the larger parts of the world, right? But when he took his own life, that was the first celebrity death that really affected me, because I looked at him and said, you lived the life that I wish I could live, but if that still wasn't enough to make you happy, I know those are oversimplified terms, but maybe that's not something enough to make me happy. And it kind of really reframed a lot of the way that I thought about my own life. Did you ever think about that?
It's very sad in those instances, because these people that we sometimes admire, they're just like anyone else. Their brain is giving them bad information. And I just have a lot of sympathy for people in that situation.
Yeah.
And sometimes people make it out, and unfortunately sometimes people don't.
Yeah.
Pass the bacon.
Are you able to look at like the larger cultural impact of Jackass and see it through the same lens as you would have viewed Hunter S. Thompson's work through?
No.
Why not?
I don't sit around and compare myself to people.
Fair. But if you were to like zoom out right now, I was trying to explain Jackass to my wife as I was watching it last night. And I found myself having a little bit of
lots of cock.
There's lots of cock.
Lots of male touching and cock.
But also in a way that is very artistically beautiful. Are you able to look at it and say like, well, the turn of the 2000s, the rise of cable, or you just don't give a shit? You were just there doing it all?
Yeah, that's not my job.
Sure.
Maybe one day I'll look back and try to think about that a little more, but I don't.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that Jackass means so much to people, and but I also have no control over that, So I just keep trying to do what I'm doing and hopefully not f*** up.
I remember At my high school, there was a separate clique that were just the Jackass kids. For real.
The bad kids?
No, but they would have been the bad kids if not for being the Jackass kids.
They had an outlet.
They had an outlet. And I remember once I was leaving football practice and I kind of walked in between a bunch of different cliques, but I remember seeing them. One of them was throwing up in the bushes as somebody had like a little, camera with the little flip out digital lens. And I was like, what's up, Zach? What are you guys doing? I'm like, oh, well, Nick ate 6 habaneros and then he rolled down the hill and now he's dizzy, so he's throwing up the habaneros into the bushes. And I was like, oh, carry on, gentlemen. And it was something that was so very normal. And in a weird way, I was trying to think of like what they would have been doing without that. They wouldn't have been taking the AP classes. They wouldn't have been student president. They would have been doing something that frankly was probably less productive.
Probably been stealing your hubcaps.
Probably would have been stealing your hubcaps. But, for all the Lieberman bullshit of the
that makes me happy that there were Jackass kids that
a fully separate clique.
That I haven't heard before, and that actually makes me very happy. So, cheers.
Cheers, man. Have you gotten stories from fans saying that, like, hey, you gave me a purpose in a way that I didn't have before?
Yes, people have been very kind about coming up and sharing those kind of sentiments. And then I've met people that I work with, whether it's an actor or stunt guy, and when they tell me that, and, that has weight. If you can touch anyone's life at all, that has weight. Especially doing the dumb shit that we do.
Yeah.
So.
Do you take that role as patriarch very seriously? Do you consider yourself that? I know a lot of the crew calls you captain. Like, do you feel a paternalistic relationship towards the Jackass guys? And is that one of the reasons you keep making movies?
They're my friends, and Jeff and I seem to be like their mom and dad, or I'm the mom. He's the coach, I'm the player coach. And they're a handful. Jesus. You can't imagine some of the stuff we've dealt with over the years. Whew. And but Jeff and I have been no bed of roses either, Sure. Everyone has been a huge problem at some point.
I think that goes for everybody in life.
Yeah, but especially for our assholes.
Ready to go into course number 3?
Oh, yes.
Johnny, for the third course of your final meal on Earth, we have hamburger and french fries, lettuce, tomato, mustard. And then we have some chocolate milkshakes. You did not request a chocolate milkshake, but I know your dad used to prank people by putting laxatives in a chocolate milkshake.
Yes, yes.
I don't know if there are laxatives in these milkshakes, but I don't know that there aren't laxatives. We're sort of in like a Schrodinger's milkshake situation right now, because I saw the box in the kitchen. I don't know if it's open or not.
You're telling that to me like I care.
L'chaim, man.
Very good milkshake. Oh, by the way, all the food's been very good. Compliments to the chef. I'm not some son of a bitch that come on here and complain about the food. No, I may be a son of a bitch.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm not the son of a bitch who complained about the food.
Why hamburger and french fry?
Like it was pressed for time.
Johnny, you're a writer and storyteller. Make up a story about a hamburger you had once. Tell me.
Oh my God.
Johnny, tell me about any hamburger you've ever eaten.
I love hamburgers, Josh. Boy, let me tell you.
Me too, man.
They get me harder than a turnbuckle.
Johnny, you host a show called Fear Factor, House of Fear. I don't know if you know this about yourself.
No.
Real deep cut from the archives. What's your own relationship to fear?
Who took away my fucking beer?
Can we get another round of Sapporo's, please? Thank you so much for playing.
I just experienced real fear. When it comes to my kids and someone, my wife, my dog, I'll get fearful. But as far as like my safety, I'm having to, think about that more now. I'm trying to like, it's okay you're not doing that.
When you say it's okay you're not doing that, who are you imagining saying it's okay?
Me.
Yeah.
Because I've already shared that. Oh, here we go. Thank you.
The feeling when you're staring down a bull, you listen to Mat Hoffman, and there's a story about Mat Hoffman that I'm sure you've heard a bunch of times about him and Travis Pastrana, I think, base jumping the Grand Canyon, where Mat Hoffman refused to get close to the edge of the Grand Canyon. And Travis was like, is this because you're afraid? And he goes, I'm not afraid of the drop. I'm afraid that I'm going to get so excited that I'm going to want to jump and fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But do you have that when you're staring down a stunt? Say there's a bull or you're going to get fired from a cannon. You don't seem like the guy like Mat Hoffman who's afraid that he's so excited that he's going to get in the cannon that he's going to do it too early. You seemed like you had fear more than some other people who seemed eager, despite the fact that you were, the de facto ringleader and actually orchestrating a lot of this.
Like some stunts that aren't as perilous, I wasn't as energized to do them. But the more dangerous they are, I just wanted to get to set and do them. Like I couldn't wait to get to set and do them.
So they were over?
Like I didn't want to stand around on the set and wait.
Yeah.
It's like, Jeff, I'm just going to go sit in my car. Someone tap on the window or text me to come. And when I get there, it's go time. I don't want to have all the cameras please worked out because I don't want to sit around and wait on the cameras or anything else. And to his credit, he always had everything. All I had to do was stand in one spot or hold on to something. So it was pretty easy.
That feeling of when you're standing in the one spot or holding on to something, do you use the term dissociation?
No, I just wanted to do it. I just wanted, let's do it. Yeah. And it's just immense anticipation I experienced. By that time, I was just excited and wanted it to happen. It got to a happy excitement, like less, of course there was fear, but that you don't have to consider that. I was just wanting to do it.
Talk to me about Survivor's Euphoria.
Colonel John Paul Stapper, one of the most brilliant men of the 20th century. He did a lot of groundbreaking research on deceleration, and it was because it was the 1940s and they were trying to see what would happen to pilots when they ejected at altitude. So he built this giant sled in the desert and get up to several hundreds of miles an hour and stop within 10 to 15 feet abruptly. And he experienced incredible amount of G's. He was injured so many times. Eventually, he experienced more G's than anyone in history on purpose and lived. It was like 48 G's.
Jeez. But
Survivor's Euphoria was something that would happen for him after he completed a run on the sled and he survived. It's a thing. I didn't have a name for it,
Yeah. But that was a feeling that you'd always felt, and then when you read it.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I'm actually going to walk. I'm actually walking out of here. That's good.
Truly not every stunt you've walked out from scot-free. Were there any stunts that you anticipated?
Well, even if you get taken out by a stretcher or something, you're cognizant and you're,
Sure.
And you're moving your feet, hopefully.
Yeah. Do you take other people's safety more seriously?
Yes.
Than yours?
Yes.
Because you got you've talked about your dad's group of friends, right? You had Woodrow Wilson, Boxcar Johnson Jr.
No.
You know what I mean? Like he has all these this pirate crew, and you've ended up with the Steve-O and a Wee Man and a Danger Aaron and whatever, and you're sort of the captain. Were there any moments where you were like, we can't do this because somebody else is going to get hurt? I need to be the person to jump in and take the bullet.
I wasn't trying to write the most dangerous things for myself, but in hindsight, I did. I don't know why, it's just what I found interesting. And I did not like being on the other side of it, watching one of my friends about to do something dangerous. It's no fun.
Yeah.
No fun at all. Especially if it's like a life-altering type of could-be situation. So I understand what my family went through.
Did you have an internal coda on Jackass that was like, we're not going to prank you during certain hours? Or was there always a baseline level
My guys?
of anxiety? Yeah, when you were like shooting the movies.
No, there was no boundaries. With the guys, there was no boundaries at all.
It was like, hey,
people acted f***ing worse when the cameras were off. For sure.
why do you think that is?
They just couldn't help themselves. No one's faking it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of who they are. And we just got a special group of guys together.
Hey, goddamn right you did. Johnny, for your final course of your final meal on Earth, we have frozen grapes and sugar-free popsicles. Now, we've frozen cotton candy grapes normal style. Then we've also, I know you have a secret recipe. We tried to divine it, and so we soaked some of them in Sprite and then covered them in sugar and citric acid to try and create our own little frozen cotton candy
Wow, I
grape
never
candy.
heard of that.
What's your recipe?
I can't give it away. It's a very protected.
How f***ing secret can this recipe be? It's grapes, man.
It's frozen grapes, but I can't tell you how I freeze them.
On your deathbed, I'm going to be lording over you, and you will whisper.
I
it
will
in my
maybe
ear.
tell you on my deathbed.
I'm holding you to that. And then we got some sugar-free popsicles. This is sort of the assemblage of a madman here, the frozen grapes with the margarita, the beer, and the sugar-free popsicles. This is the meal of a man who has a disease that they haven't come up with a name for yet. You know, and you're like, why is he eating that? He obviously craves some sort of acid and liquor.
I have a
No
problem with cotton candy frozen grapes. I'm trying to eat less of them, but I'm not doing a very good job.
You know, I think on the scale of you and cotton candy grapes and Hunter S. Thompson on amphetamines, I think I'd rather be towards the left of that graph there, Johnny.
Well, I'm not telling you about the other shit.
Fair. When did this problem with the grapes start?
About a year and a half ago.
Was there a traumatic event that happened that kicked off this addiction?
No, someone I read someone ate frozen grapes. I'm like, oh my God, what have I been doing with my life that I have not eaten frozen grapes? I want to try some of these. They look shady.
Right, I got some sugar, some citric acid.
Cocaine sprinkled frozen grapes.
Not cocaine. We were gonna have fake cocaine.
I
and then
never
we found
really
it
liked
YouTube.
cocaine.
No? The throat drip gets you?
I always get a sinus infection and like
There's just a lot of
I
other
couldn't
compounds.
really perform on it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like shoot and pull with a rope.
I get that.
And I'm like, why am I even taking it?
It's a good point. You can talk real fast, though. You can sell people on your idea for a t-shirt company.
The first line of cocaine you ever do is great. After that is total shit. But that's a lot of sugar.
Right? When will have you
Holy
they kind of
shit.
stick to it.
Wow.
You tried to perform a magic trick for the bull, and instead that bull gave you a hemorrhage. I would have probably tipped you $5 instead of giving you a brain hemorrhage.
Well, that would have been appreciated.
Yeah. How much did that trick completely alter the rest of your life? And was that the first time that you've done a stunt where it's like, oh shit, this is gonna be different. This isn't a broken arm. This is something that you don't come back from.
No, I had a lot of concussions. And some of them were worse than others. But this one completely set me offline for like 6 months.
Yeah.
When I was referencing someone's brain giving them bad information earlier, that's what was happening to me.
Got you. Oh,
And
interesting.
it was terrifying. Because people would tell me, like, what you're thinking is happening is not happening. Your brain's just playing tricks on you. I'm like, no, it's not.
Wow.
And I have so much compassion for people who are going through that, and they can't see that, because I couldn't.
Yeah.
But luckily, I came out the other side.
Who did you have in your corner helping drag you to the other side?
Well, I have very good friends, very good therapists, very good pharmacists.
Sure.
Good pharmacist is key. It was one of the roughest moments of my life.
You start shooting Jackass 5 soon. You got any trepidation about that? Or is it the same amount of excitement, but you know your boundaries?
I can't get another concussion. So that kind of stuff is out. And that's tough. But we have so much idiotic stuff planned that I can't wait to get to set. So that's where I'm going right after this. We're just prepping.
Glad to give you the inspiration.
Well, I mean, come on. If you can't have a few drinks and
Sure.
prep Jackass,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
what movie can you prep?
You quote a Christian theologian, John Donne, in the original Big Brother article, where he says, humiliation is the beginning of sanctification. Or it's like a Trolls quote, right? It's very skate mag from the late 90s. But now, after years of, large group of dudes debasing themselves in front of millions, you all are veritably sanctified. Do you think that quote was prophecy?
Well, there's a quote from Wise Blood. Said, "No man with a good car needs to be justified." And I have an old Cadillac, so.
Do you think there's some truth in that, though?
That we're sanctified?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think we're there yet.
Sure. After Jackass 6, maybe?
No, this is it.
This is it officially. Have you said that in the past, that this is it? Because I feel like
I know I said it after the first movie,
Sure.
And then I end up in Russia with Jeff and the guys shooting on Wild Boys. And, and I was a little excitable, and Jeff finally pulled me aside. He's like, "Look, if you're willing to go this big for basic cable, why don't we just do another one?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." But this is it.
This is the worst question that anybody can ask anybody in entertainment, but what's next after this? Because I feel like you're somebody who could write the great American novel, if that's of interest to you. I would be very curious to hear what you have to say.
I got
in a literary sense.
Consumed with living the great American novel, and I think at some point I have been thinking about trying to write something, but I'm just too consumed with trying to figure out different things to shove up my friends' butts.
You ever do a Costco chicken bake?
Is that like code for something? Like the old, you ever do the old Rochester Gallop?
No.
The old Chattanooga Choo Choo?
Never do a Rochester Gallop for free. That's at least triple digits. No, Costco chicken bake. It's like a long cylindrical calzone. I go right up an asshole though.
Well, so it is code for something.
It's not code for it's a menu
You're
item.
shoving something up someone's ass.
Yeah, but you're shoving it's called a Costco chicken. It was on our last guest's last meal. He didn't shove it up his ass. He ate it normal style.
Well, then he failed.
Then he failed. Tell that to Dr. Mike Varshovsky. American hero.
Way to half-ass it, Doc.
Steve-O is the only guest we've had on this show who stood up and showed his ass to the camera. So that was a unique first for us.
Yeah, I've seen that asshole so many times. It's something else. Oh my God. I have something on my phone right now. It's from him, all asshole.
Like,
I wouldn't be doing anyone any favors by showing it.
After the cameras, please, I'll give you $10.
I'm sorry, Steve-O. He'll be upset if I insulted his asshole. You have a gorgeous bottom. But I've seen it too many times.
Yeah. Do you fear death?
No.
Do you long for it?
I think there's times in my life that I romanticized it. And that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a dead-end street.
What do you think happens when you die?
I don't give a shit. I think it's a great big sleep.
None of the philosophers, none of the John Donnes of the world have ever convinced you that it's nothing but a big sleep. Is there any part of you that hopes that it's not?
No, I'm pretty reasonable about it. I'm not floating off somewhere. Yeah.
Ready to go on the lightning round? I'll tell you what one of my biggest fears is
talking with your mouth full?
No, that's not fear at all. Cold food. I have sensitive teeth.
Oh, you're nothing if not sensitive. I picked that up very quickly.
We got lightning round popsicles.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny, I feel like I know the answer of why popsicles, but why popsicles?
Well, I'd like to hear your... Well, this one kind of looks like a penis. I mean, right?
That's a good one, yeah.
No wonder I picked this one.
Mine was, I was going to say, I had 10 minutes to answer, and so my wife was there, and she said, "You eat those popsicles." I said, "I don't eat no fucking popsicles in my last meal."
Oh, my kidding me? Like, I would never think about talking to my wife like that.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. No, that was not.
Boy, he has a couple of drinks and the anger comes out, huh?
No, demons got the better of me on that.
Jesus Christ.
And I should let the better angels. And right, Johnny, if you want to take this lightning round,
Yeah, we should do this lightning round quick before the wheels completely fall off.
who's the one person, dead or alive, you'd want to share your actual last meal with?
Yeah, you kind of want your family there, you know?
What song do you want to be played at your funeral?
Can the circle be unbroken? I'm not a religious man, but that's like a family song.
Who's the greatest outlaw country musician of all time?
That's a tough one. Willie and Waylon were and are pure musical outlaws. But Johnny Paycheck shot a man over a bowl of turtle soup. So it's a real toss-up.
Do you regret the fact that you made Bad Grandpa instead of the ass-kicking karate grandpa Willie Nelson Broken Lizard movie?
Oh my God. We pitched both of those movies one day at Paramount. And we only wanted to do the movie with Willie. And we pitched both ideas. One, which is incredibly difficult, Bad Grandpa.
Yeah.
And they chose Bad Grandpa. And we walked out of the studio. Usually when you sell a movie, you're psyched. Mm-hmm. Me, Jeff, and Derek, it's like they said no to both of our movies. We're like, we gotta do it. So I would have loved to have made that movie. Willie is the absolute greatest.
What's your biggest fear?
I would say for my fears for my family.
Finally, Johnny, are you happy?
Yes, I am. Finally. Shit.
Finally, man.
Jesus Christ, you get to this
Took long
age, you
enough,
think, at least be happy, and I'm finally very happy. I'm not at war with myself.
And I'm very happy that you joined me here today. Truly, man, you've been a massive inspiration from every single part of your career. Cheers, brother.
Oh, thank you, thank
Thank
you.
you again, man. If you want to deliver your last words to that camera right there.
My last words?
We ask people for last
What did Pancho Villa say? He's like, please tell them I said something. Old Pancho didn't really think it out now, did he?
No, he didn't get the power of editing, Pancho.
Yeah, I guess mine would be, who's holding?
Everyone, make sure you check out Fear Factor House of Fear. Johnny, what time does this air in Siberia?
Oh, I think at 3 a.m.
Is that Kamchatka time?
Yes.
Or Makachkala?
The second one.
Check out our last meals hat and more over at mythical.com.